All right, happy 2 days after Veterans Day 2019. It's been a while since I posted. I had a conversation with a gentleman today who is in law enforcement, and I just wanted to document it. We kind of talked about officers, and I guess what's the term? Zeitgeist is what they say in Germany. Just kind of the prevailing attitude or feeling among law enforcement and the public, for that matter. And the discussion went back to Vietnam, where soldiers, servicemen who had come home from Southeast Asia were shunned. They were called baby killers. They were sped upon. And to contrast that with today, how veterans are revered and honored, and for good reason, with Afghanistan and Iraq, and just recently with Syria, there has been a lot of sacrifice in those parts of the world. And for example, with retired Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, he wrote a couple of books on combat and on killing, and that brought some honor to giving service, whether it be in the military or in law enforcement. And it's kind of trendy, it's kind of cool in a subculture, I should say, to be in law enforcement. There are a lot of younger people who like the idea of serving. They like being part of something bigger than themselves. They like being able to wear a uniform because it represents something greater than them, something stronger than themselves. But that is kind of a problem as well. A lot of these people, and I don't want to use the term, but millennials, they like the honor, they like the prestige, they like the recognition. But the conversation I had actually was directed towards officers who like to wear pins and medals, and they like to have a lot of flash or bling or whatever you want to call it, which is superficial, and yet they don't have the intestinal fortitude or the resilience to go with that. And I guess the point I'm making is right now there is a subculture where law enforcement and the military is revered and honored. And so there's a lot of people that want to get into it because there's a lot of people like say, hey, I want to get a huge discount on going out to eat on Veterans Day. I like it when people tell me thanks. But those same people are the ones that are probably a little bit naive, and they don't understand there is a huge sacrifice that goes along with that. As the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq have wound down, the country hasn't chewed through as many veterans as they used to. So the military is starting to build up its ranks with people that haven't seen combat before. They haven't seen people get hurt or killed in combat. And I guess the point I'm making is right now with the opinion that, law enforcement and the military is honorable, it's something that you should be honored for. It's attracting a lot of people that are glory hounds, I guess. And the tide will turn. Opinions for law enforcement and the military will turn. Eventually, it's inevitable, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because the people that you get who want the prestige and the honor and the glory aren't necessarily the ones that are going to be able to do the job when push comes to shove. And I'd have to say, people in law enforcement, they're a little bit broken. They're professional. They like to do their job well, but there's a certain part of some law enforcement, I should say, the good ones, who thrive off of conflict. And I'm not talking about Facebook arguments or controversial posts or whatever. I'm talking about people who actually thrive off of physical contact or conflict, where there might be somebody who says, hey, you know what, I don't want to do that, get out of my face, copper, or ain't nobody going to take me to jail. And yet the officers there want to do their job, they want to do it well, and they actually like being able to work through problems where who are you going to call if things don't work out right? The police are it. That's pretty much it. You don't call anybody after the police. So I guess the point being is, once the tides turn and the opinions of law enforcement aren't as high, and officers are not honored as much as they are today, there will be probably a problem with staffing law enforcement, and that's okay. Because the people who do show up and who do get jobs are there for the right reason, that they're going to be resilient. They're not there for the pomp and the title and the honor and the glory. They're there because that's just basically who they are. They're all about just dealing with people, dealing with conflict, trying to fix problems in people's lives the best they can with the tools they have, and moving on and helping the next person. Anyway, if you have a differing opinion, that's fine. I welcome it. Please put your hate comments below, and I'll address those as I get them. Thank you.